That's it. Selling everything, and I'm moving to Vietnam. I gave up on the American dream. I've been trying to buy a house for as long as I can remember. The average price for a house here in America is $500,000. At that price point, I just lost interest. On top of that, every month you have to pay not only your mortgage, you have to pay insurance, taxes, maintenance, and then what do you do on your free time? You work on your house. Now, I am a DIY guy. I wouldn't mind working on a house if I owned one, so that's really not a big deal. However, I'm not looking to buy a fixer-upper and spend the rest of my life fixing that house up. I've decided to move to Da Nang, Vietnam. One of the main reasons is the affordable living. It's about a third of the cost than it is here in the United States. I know a lot of these YouTubers, they can glorify these travel vlogs. I do think you can get a nice condo for about $300 a month, pretty close to the beach. Even if it's a little bit more money, I'm willing to pay $400 a month. That is significantly cheaper than it is here in the United States. I also don't mind living a little bit out in the rural area, kind of away from the downtown area. Like, I still want to experience the real Vietnam, so I'm okay with a cheaper cost of living. Plus, I want to integrate with the culture. I do plan on learning the language. It's very difficult. I am actually working on that right now. So that is going to take probably a couple years to get that figured out. I've never lived on the beach or by the beach. That looks really fun. Could do some surfing, snorkeling. I can walk barefoot on the beach. They've got pull-up bars and dip bars. I'm going to make an attempt to go to the beach every day. I just want to be outside, be in nature as much as possible. And life's really kind of become stagnant here in the United States. Another main reason, I mean, where I live here in Tennessee. I'm in a pretty good spot, but you get into the bigger cities, it's just not very safe. There's a lot more crime here. There's a lot more murders, a lot more shootings. The United States has really gotten out of control. Now, I will say I love my country. I'm very thankful that I was born here. I will always love America. That being said, there's a misconception about a lot of these countries in Southeast Asia. These countries are very safe. And I still want to start a family. So I think that's a benefit to raise a family in Vietnam or somewhere in Southeast Asia. Even if Vietnam doesn't work out, I still want to check out Thailand, Laos. I'm going to do a little traveling. I'm very open-minded. But the cultures, they're all about family over there. The people seem happy, they're simple, they're frugal, they're friendly. They're even very open to foreigners. They're so nice. And I like that positive energy. They're healthy over there. Like, I'm all about health and fitness, and America's just fat. It's just disgusting anymore. I mean, I hate talking down on my country like that. I mean, yeah, there's still a good group of people that take care of their health, but for the majority of the people, they're just obese and don't care. The women. Now, there's great women in America. However, there's also a lot of feminist and masculine women here, which is just not what I'm into. I want a traditional feminine woman. And in Vietnam, there is a lot of very feminine, traditional women there. Now, I'm not saying I want her to do all the cooking and all the cleaning. Like, I will cook, I will clean. I enjoy doing that type of stuff. We can share those things. But I think there's a yin and yang to a relationship. You need masculine man and a feminine woman to make that relationship work. Those Vietnamese women are beautiful. Women are women everywhere in the world. I'm not trying to say you're gonna go somewhere and finding a relationship is just gonna be easier, but that's just my preferences. Another benefit is they have a very strong and vibrant coffee and food culture. Now, I am predominantly meat-based, carnivore, low carb, but on occasion, I don't mind eating a bowl of white rice or having some fruit. I like mixing that type of stuff into my diet, so I will explore and try out some of their foods. I don't want to be super dogmatic about my diet, but I will stick to eating meat-based. They have delicious food over there. Some of the best food in the world is in Vietnam. And they grow coffee there. I love coffee. Coffee is my drug of choice. It's the only vice I have is coffee. I don't drink, smoke. I don't do any drugs. I'm not into that stuff. My drug is coffee. Working out is also a drug for me. I love hiking, getting out in nature, this type of stuff. But they have Robusta coffee there, which is significantly stronger than the Arabica beans that most of the coffee in the world is. So I'm pretty excited. I have had some Robusta coffee, and it's definitely stronger. It can give you the shakes if you drink too much of it too fast. So I want to go and explore some of the coffee farms. I want to taste test some of the coffee there. I really want to just adventure out and just really see a different part of the world that I've never seen before. The lifestyle just seems a lot more relaxed and laid back and a little less stressful than America. And I'm not all about keeping up with the Joneses here in America anyway. I mean, yeah, I want to make enough money to be happy. However, I'm going to try this YouTube thing, and I just need to make enough money in Vietnam to live a good life. I'm pretty simple, but I've figured out my bills. On average, here in America, I pay about $1,800 a month. That's for my apartments, all my bills, putting gas in my car. Now I own my car. I have a $30 a month cell phone bill. I cook all of my own food. I make my own coffee. I'm very frugal, so I'm at $1,800 a month. And that's, you know, if I don't have to pay for something extra. That's not me buying anything off of Amazon or shopping for anything. And I think with a third of the cost in Vietnam, I think I could really be at about $600 to $700 a month for my cost of living. Now, I know YouTube doesn't pay much in the beginning, but I do have enough money saved to get by for the first full year. So as long as I can get a little income from YouTube eventually, I think I can make it work. I've never lived without a car since I was 16, and I almost always have two cars. So it's going to be very strange for me in Vietnam with no car, because everybody over there rides motorbikes. So you can rent a motorbike for $60 a month, or you can buy a used motorbike for as cheap as $100. You can buy a brand new Honda Wave motorbike, and Honda's the way to go, for like $700. So that's super cheap. And then if you don't want to ride a motorbike, you can just order a Grab. Grab is very popular in Southeast Asia. They're like the Uber. They can deliver you food for as cheap as $1 delivery fee. You can find meals for as cheap as $1. It's actually a little more expensive to cook your own food there. That's most likely what I'll be doing anyway. So yeah, you can take a Grab either on the back of a motorbike, or you can take a Grab inside of a car and they'll drive you wherever you want. But anyway, I will keep you guys updated. I'm going through a transition right now where I am just selling everything. and selling all of my things has turned into a full-time job. But I mean, I am selling something just about every day. It's pretty amazing how much stuff one person can own. But anyway, hope you guys follow me along on this journey. Peace.